fundamental law of business that we're working on this time is the notion that you can only build a great business through the efforts of others. We have to get that into our heads. We can't do it all ourselves, nor should we. Otherwise, we're simply creating a job for ourselves. And you'll have heard the statement, get the right people on the bus. Absolutely right. To do that though, we have to observe the first part of that, which is get the wrong people off. Staff, most people would regard as the biggest headache in owning a business. It's hard to find good ones, it's hard to keep them, it's hard to move them out if they're not performing. It's that old story, how many people you got working for you? Oh, about half. The idea that we've all heard is to treat staff like A-class customers. And that's one of those cliches that you hear from business from time to time, and you say, well, yes, absolutely. Let's drill down a little. When we talk about finding A-class customers, we're talking about finding them, winning them, keeping them, and growing them. Now those principles can all be applied to finding great staff. With customers we say, where do we find the best customers we've got? What does the ideal customer look like and where do we find them? And we think about things like referrals and advertising and so on. Same applies to great staff. Where did we find our best staff members? Where can we find the best people in the industry? With customers, when we talk about winning, we're talking about selling. The same applies. In today's market, we have to sell ourselves as an employer. We have to have a proposition that's going to encourage, persuade, compel people, the best people in the industry, to come and work for us. The same goes for keeping. Of course, we want to upsell, retain our A-class customers. The same applies to our A-class staff. What do we do to keep them? And typically, we know that great work, encouragement, development, motivation, those sorts of things are important in keeping them. We also know that what turns them off, more often than not, is a bad boss. So, we've got to have a strategy for retaining our best staff. We've got to have a strategy, just like when we want to grow our A-class customers, the same here. What's the development strategy for each of those individual staff members? We have to challenge them with clear expectations and create a higher standard for them. Our best staff are going to want to develop. Our best staff are going to want to grow. But of course, the whole organisation's not necessarily made up of great staff. We have underperformers. Here's the reality. If the dream is bigger than the team, drop the dream or change the team. It's as simple as that. If you look at your business 5 years out and some of those people aren't there, the reality is they won't have helped you get there. You owe it to your business to move underperformers out. In fact, one of the big things in keeping people is moving underperformers out. High quality people just don't like being in an organisation where poor performance is tolerated. That's the plan. The action step from here to go into the gas. What does your perfect staff member look like? Have a think about that. Who do you need to get off the bus in order to make room for a better performer, for someone who's more likely to deliver? You should have an action plan or an investment plan for every single staff member, a return on investment plan. Where are you going to invest? What sort of returns do you want? All your staff should have job descriptions so that they know what's expected of them. The biggest reason that people fail to perform to expectation is that usually the owner hasn't made those expectations clear in the first place. Now these are all activities that we should be doing in our time on, our development time, working through a strategy to protect our greatest asset in the business.